Take a moment.
Okay. Well, it's past 7:30. Welcome to all of you to the Middleton City Hall. So I'm going to call the meeting of the Middleton Common Council for March 21st, 2023 to order. And the first item is the roll call.
Nairo? Here. Yes.
Here.
Nelson? Here. Bizarre?
Present.
Olson? Here. Cole?
Here.
All present.
Great. So the next item is the public comment, they're limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and John Bethel is going to speak.
Mr. Mayor, my name is John Beckel. I'm the president of Middleton DFW Post 8216. And I know the council will be considering a proclamation tonight concerning our post namesake, William Sonny Simon, whose remains are returning home after nearly 80 years. This is a significant event for our post and certainly the extended Simon family, and I think for the whole Middleton community. And as this has unfolded fairly quickly in the last couple of weeks, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank you, Mayor, for your assistance, the Chief of Police, the Fire Chief, Gunderson Funeral Home in St. Bernard's Church, for all coming together to try and make this an event that the community can appreciate and remember. And I'd also like to point out that Sonny's younger sister, Eileen, is older sister. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't want to get. She is younger.
Yeah.
And Eileen's daughter, Mary, and her husband for making the trip tonight to hear your consideration of the proclamation. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Really appreciate it. Does anybody else want to speak at this time? Anyone who may want to speak? Okay, I'm going to close that part of the meeting. And we are going to go on to the proclamation honoring Private First Class Laverne Sonny Simon from the U.S. Army. This is the proclamation honoring Private First Class William Laverne Sonny Simon, U.S. Army. Whereas William Laverne Sonny Simon is a native son of Middleton, Wisconsin. And whereas Sonny was a well-known, personable, athletic leader at Middleton High School, lettering in football, basketball, baseball, and boxing. Imagine that, football, basketball, baseball, and he was pretty busy and graduating in June 1943. And whereas Sonny enlisted in the U.S. Army following high school graduation, and upon completion of training, was assigned to Company G, Second Battalion, 109th Infantry, Regiment 28th Infantry Division, and deployed to the European Theater of Operations. I apologize. Whereas his unit was engaged in battle with German forces near Hürten, Germany, and in the Hürten forest, he was reported missing in action on November 5th, 1944. And his whereabouts could not be confirmed due to the intense army fire. And whereas Sonny was later officially declared as killed in action at the age of 20 years. Due to eyewitness accounts from the battle, whereas unidentified remains of hundreds of American soldiers from the Battle of Hurton Forest were interred in the Ardennes American Cemetery in 1950. And whereas scientists from the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency use dental and anthropological analysis, circumstantial evidence, mitochondrial DNA, and autosomal DNA analysis to positively identify Sonny's remains in November 2022. And whereas Sonny answered the call of duty to defend his country, making the ultimate sacrifice, is being returned to Middleton on March 24, 2023, and will be buried with full military honors in St. Bernard Cemetery in Middleton on March 28, 2023, at his final resting place. Now, therefore, the Common Council of the City of Middleton and Mayor Broad hereby proclaim the 28th day of March 2023 as William Laverne Sonny Simon Day in Middleton, Wisconsin. This proclamation was adopted at a regular meeting of the Middleton Common Council on 21st day of March 2023. Need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Need a
second.
second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So I have this frame here for Aline, and if you guys would like to come forward.
You should do that right now. Is anybody else in here? Oh, wow. How old is he? Imagine. You see they're having a professional, but they have the street lined out. No. When they bring it in, I think it's coming on. Anyway, they have a route. It's for people to come and see. It's on Facebook, the Sunny Simon post.
Thank you for coming.
Mayor, if I may. If I may, Mr. Bechtel, could you explain a little bit about when the remains will return to Middleton on, I believe it's this Friday?
This Friday, his remains are currently at an Air Force base in Nebraska. They're being flown on Southwest Airlines to Milwaukee.
Okay.
And they will be where the family will meet them, and the state police will escort them. They're landing in Milwaukee at 6:30 p.m. on Friday. State police will escort them all the way to Middleton. Middleton police will pick up the escort at Dane County line. Also, they'll exit on University Avenue off of 12. The fire department will have all their trucks out and a flag extended over University Avenue. And then here, you did it. They'll be driving by Sonny's childhood home on the Hubbard Avenue. benefits. Does that answer your question?
So it's gonna be late at night then? I guess was my question is what time of day it would be coming through. So it's gonna
it'll
be,
late in the evening, probably ETA is by 8:30.
okay,
And then after he's having the service at St. Bernard on Tuesday from 11 to about noon. And then they will take a route, Parliament or past his childhood home again to St. Bernard. Police and fire are also helping with that.
thanks.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So the next one is proclamation commending the habitat for humanity of Dane County. And we have Valerie here, if you come forward. So I'm going to read it. Proclamation honoring Valerie Rank and Habitat for Humanity of Dane County. Whereas the city of Middleton is honoring Habitat for Humanity of Dane County and its Chief Executive Officer, Valerie Rank, for serving the Middleton community with affordable housing opportunities. And whereas over the past 35 years, Habitat has proudly partnered with diverse groups of more than 325 families, 60% of those being people of color, to achieve long-term stability through home ownership. When families partner with Habitat to become first-time home owners, not only are they finally able to have a safer home, many are able to break the cycle of generational poverty and create a positive impact for decades to come. And whereas the city has been proud to partner with Habitat to build an equitable community in Dane County, where every family can thrive, and has established a pathway to stability to 853 Dane County children. And whereas Habitat has built 3 homes in the city of Middleton and is working with Middleton residents to repair their existing homes through the Habitat Home Repair Program, which you will see a little bit later. And whereas Habitat actively engages volunteers from the city of Middleton to be the heart and muscle behind Habitat's mission, creating a world where everyone has a decent place to live. And whereas Habitat is a strong community partner for advancing the city's affordable housing and workforce housing initiative. Now, therefore, the Common Council of the City of Middleton and Mayor Broad do hereby commend Valerie Rank and Habitat for Humanity of Dane County for their continued partnership and work to advance our shared affordable housing goals. This proclamation was adopted at a regular meeting of the Middleton Common Council on the 21st of March, 2023. Need a motion to approve.
This is Olson. I'll make a motion to approve the proclamation.
Need a second?
This is Wokus, I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. So we got a framed copy for you. And I just want to mention that I have worked for the Habitat for Humanity for many years, and they have a Super Bowl at Madison West, and I have served soup there for 6 years now. And then also at Spring Windows, you can help actually build some of those part of the homes. And then also at the state capitol, they had that event, and I participated in that one too. Let's give her a big hand for me. And she's going to make a presentation very soon. You can come.
We're moving again.
So do we have a clicker button or do I have to tell somebody? 'Cause I
Yeah,
have a lot of
just a minute. So the next item is, we are on to the presentations, and the next item, the first one is the presentation from Habitat for Humanity of Dane County. Valerie Rank is going to do it. So let's get it started.
Right, still me, thank you. All right, so just an introduction with that we bring together people to build homes, community, and home. And I've got a lot of slides, so I'll try and go fast because I know we have a lot to get through tonight. So the bottom line is, why is there a housing crisis? Because we have 2% people growth and only 1% of housing growth. The first question people always ask me is, how are your family selection? And we're going to talk just for a minute about home ownership, because I know we want to talk about the other things more, but this is kind of the foundation. Families that we partner with, good rental history, they earn between 30 and 60% of the Dane County median income. And right now that's about 30 to 60,000. So they are families that are working hard. They can have no more than 13% of their income going to debt. That's not a lot. That's basically, a car loan. They must be a resident for at least a year or two. And they have to be willing to put in a lot of sweat equity, 325 to 375 hours of work on their home or other people's home. They have to be willing to be a partner. That means to go out and speak, work with volunteers, a full partnership. And then they have to be willing to pay a mortgage. Quick story of one of our families. Just the bottom line is, this family, the kids both had special needs, and the mom was having surgical issues that she just couldn't run after her kids anymore. Being in an apartment and going to a park was no longer an option. And I couldn't do a presentation without having a picture of Jimmy Carter in it. But I really chose this one because the woman that's second from the right in the front, she is one of our local volunteers, Dee, and she has done a couple of builds in Haiti with the Carters. And my favorite story is, she says, they build alongside with us every day. They eat with us. They sleep with us. The only difference is they have their own porta potty. Apparently that's a Secret Service deal. But our vision, again, is a world where everyone has a decent place to live. And here's just the map of all the houses that we've built in Dane County here. And again, the 3 in Middleton, but we do try to be everywhere. But we do look for, where do the volunteers want to work? Where do sponsors want to support us? And where do the families want to live? And again, 329 families, lives have been improved over 36 years. And studies nationally and anecdotally locally, we know those kids are more likely to finish school, more likely to go to college. The families have better health, they have better finances, and they are less likely to be a victim of crime. So the business model, the families only have to pay 1% down. They're paying high rent now. It's not like they can't afford the mortgage payments. That 1% down is huge key to our success. So the basically, it's a pay it forward model. We raise the money for the house first. We use volunteers and gifts in kind to keep the costs low, but they pay market rate for that house. We get an appraisal and they pay market rate, because we don't want the neighbors saying you're lowering their values, right? So it's market rate. But what makes it affordable is we cap their payments at 28% of their income. And then it's a series of 2 to 4 0% mortgages. So that's the magic is in those mortgages. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the other stuff, because Middleton has always been a challenge to work because of high land prices. So what are the other things that we can do besides build houses? Resource. We have 2 resources, one on the east side, one on the west side. We are diverting 5,000 tons from Dane County landfill and raising $500,000 for our mission through the resource. So come and donate and buy at the resource. Financial capability training. If everybody did a better job of managing their finances, I don't care what your income is, everybody could do a better job. 3 in 5 of us live paycheck to paycheck, high income, low income. So we are doing financial capability training, not financial literacy, financial capability. People know it. Are they practicing it? So we're really working to scale that up. And we've always done it for our homeowners. Now we've always been working with the UW, but we're going beyond our regular homeowners to additional families, those we turn down, and even beyond that. And I mentioned the mentors in there because there's a lot of research that shows if you put people through financial classes, beginning to end, no difference in their outcome unless you give them a mentor. So that's something we really work with our volunteer model. We have 3,000 volunteers a year. Mentors is the key. All right, you mentioned repair. Rock the Block is so cool. We will identify an area where if we just could, repair a few homes, maybe fix up the park, it just brings everything in the neighborhood up. It lifts all the home values up. So we're doing more Rock the Blocks. We just decided to do one in west side of Madison today. We're looking for more. So if you have neighborhoods that could use this, come talk to us. Again, it's the same low to moderate type income folks. And we'll do one house here, one house there. We've got budgets to do that. Again, the homeowners have to pay for the work, but it's a 0% interest. And it's a really good deal. It's way cheaper than they could get anywhere else. It is a critical repair program. We're not going to remodel their kitchen or do something fancy. It's to keep houses safe, put in a wheelchair ramp. We work with homeowners, not landlords. And the 5-time impact means that when you fix up one house, you help the 5 houses around it. Things like accessibility modifications, windows, doors, flooring, roofing. We do not do expansions. We don't do remodels. We don't do mobile homes. Eligibility. They have to be in their home a year and not planning to move out in 3 years. They have to earn at least $15,000 and not 80% or above of the area median income. They have to be willing to repay that 0% loan, put 10% down. No household member can be on the sex offender list. They have to be current on their taxes. I bet you guys like that part, don't you? Their home has to be insured, no judgments on the home, and willing to participate to their ability. Here's a couple of before and after pictures. Sometimes it's just really simple. Sometimes we've had like the whole first floor falling down. So all sorts of projects. Okay, I kind of went through this fast, all the different things we're doing. If this sounds fun, ways that your constituents can engage, they can build for a day or a week as a group or as an individual. Your family, your Rotary Club, your city council. We do 1 hour lunch and learns. We can come into the workplace, into a church, into a Rotary Club, whatever, and tell a little bit more about what we do. We are partnered with Habitat El Salvador. So every year we take a group down over the MLK Day, that week to get a little bit more time. And that's me in the front of that sewer pit there, but I'm sure it wouldn't perk test here, but it works there. So it's kind of a fun thing people can go on. Volunteer on a committee. We have 16 committees. The Restore. We're looking for, again, individuals and groups to come into the Restore. And I like that because it's out of the cold. But here's the easiest thing, and it's also the most important. I just went through a million facts with you, right? There's so many myths about Habitat that we give away homes for free to the homeless, all those things. I hope I just dispelled some of them. Tell a friend tonight when you go home, tomorrow at work, in the grocery store, tell somebody what you learned, because we want to dispel some of those myths. One last story, the Doble family. She actually lives in Mount Horeb. Those 3 kids spent month after month, because we're a really slow and inefficient home builder. I'll just be really honest. Those kids spent a lot of time with so many volunteers. All 3 of them now are grown up. She built in 2006. All 3 of them have like missionary and volunteer type jobs because it so touched them to work with volunteers. So that's just a really cool example I love to share. And lastly, just here's 2 families saying thank you. That's the best part of my job, is getting to work with these homeowners years later and watch those kids grow up and see their improved lives and to get to talk to them and hear the appreciation for how their life is better because of the community coming together to help them. And I like to mention the government's part of that, because I think a lot of times we forget that, but we work with so many municipality and the county, and it really is all, and we even have a DOA grant right now. So even the state is getting involved. It really takes everybody getting involved, individuals, governments, counties, corporations. It really takes everybody to get involved. So that's the message I want to leave you with, is a big thank you.
Any questions for Valerie? Well, let's give a big hand. Awesome.
I just wanted to say, when we were doing the NOAA grants, that we talked about how can you help homeowners that are, if they're aging in place and they need help with their homes. I think this is just such a wonderful program. So
Thank you, John. Thank you, Valerie.
thank you, Valerie.
Okay, so the next item is Mayor State of the City presentation. So to begin with, I'd like to recognize, it's not very often my wife comes to the City Hall. She's right over there. She's an amazing lady. Well, we all know that Middleton is a great city, no question about it. It's our people, our staff, they are here, elected leaders, all of us here, and citizens serving on the boards and committees who make our city great. So in the next slide, you will see the elders. So now I'm not running for third term. So you're going to have a new mayor and it will be hopefully a lady. It looks like would be. So, and Milton hasn't had a women mayor since 1976. So it will be a great change. So this is my last state of the city address, and I'm going to recognize the elders, starting with District 1. That's Kathy Olson. Please raise your hand, and she's also a city council president. And then District 2, Kendra Vokos, and she joined the city council last April. And then we got Katie Nelson, District 3 elder, and then District 4 elder is Emily Kuhn. And District 5 elder is Luke Fusar. You can see him there on the screen. And District 6 is elder Lisa Haniro, and she also joined us last April. And then there's the District 7 elder is Dan Ramsey, and the last but not the least, District 8 elder is Randall Crow. He also joined us last April. Let's give these guys a big hand. They put a lot of hours and work hard, as you know. So, you know, the city council makes the policies and passes all various things, but it is the city staff which really makes things happen. So there was a big change this year. You know, we have a new city administrator right in the center, Brian Ghetto. And then we had, well, we will cover a little bit later, but we had two other new changes. One was the director of tourism, that's Mari Olson, and the director of public lands, recreation and forestry, that's Kylie Shearer, if she's here. So, but I'm going to recognize all of them, starting with top with Bill Burns. He's the finance director and assistant city administrator. I don't know if we have our police chief, Troy Hellenbrand, and then there's a fire chief, Aaron Harris. And we do have Sean Stowski. Where's Sean? There he is. And then director of senior services, Tammy Derrickson. Please go ahead and stand up or whatever you like to say. And the city building inspector, Joe Shalender, he was on the call earlier, and general manager for Pleasant View Golf Course, Jeremy Kavalka, and director of library services, Jocelyn Sensing here. And then we already talked about the director of public lands and recreation and director of planning and community development, Abby Toon. And then we have a human resources director, Brian Wolhapter here. And then we already talked about, well, go ahead. Go ahead. Is Mari Olson here? Well, and then our EMS chief, Steve Wunsch, and last but not the least, our IT director, he was here. Where is our IT director? He keeps all our IT systems going. And let's go to the next slide now. So these are the highlights of 2022. Single most important thing for our city or any city is the public safety. I know that we had a bad incident yesterday, but that shouldn't really, it still says a lot about our police. They handle it very quickly and very well. And our city services, I go and walk around the neighborhood and ask the citizens how we are doing. Our city services are top notch. And you know, the city council does a lot of work, but it's the board, commission, and committees. It took me 6 years, but now our boards, committees, and commission, they represent the city population, and that's for gender equity, for diversity, for ethnicity, for age, for education, for wealth, and the aldermanic district. Before I joined, there were some districts where there was a none. So now it may not be uniformly distributed, but it does represent the population. It was a lot of hard work. There was a lot of opposition, but it's, and many of these city council is meeting in person as the plan commission and also finance committee and personal committee. And there are many other committees who are meeting in person as well. Our city is growing, a lot of, you will see a little bit later. So new faces, we talked about Brian Gatto, Kelly Shearer, and Mari Olson. And we adopted a new city strategic plan, and the operating referendum passed with a 62%. And when we go to the next slide, so this is very busy slide. I'm not going to go over it for, it's a plan for next 10 to 20 years. And the whole council and the city staff is going to be working on it. But again, for me and for all the citizens, public safety would always be number one. And then, of course, the recreation, leisure, the quality of services. And if we go to the next slide now, so Middleton has a strong finance. Our equalized value is close to $4.8 billion. We're talking about billions of dollars. And this is second highest in Dane County, second only to Madison. And our bond rating is, again, the second highest. And people have a hard time finding a home in Middleton. They are 440,400. That's again the highest in Dane County, one of the highest in Wisconsin. And actually this value is more close to 424 for 2022. And but look at that, what our finance department is doing. They are lowering our debt per capita. It came down from 1784 to 1636. And, they are doing such a great job that Government Finance Officers Association said, Bill, great job, fourth year in a row. And if we go to the great job, Bill, so if we go to the next slide, look at the top right, you can see our debt is coming down. And if you look at the lower slide, you can see our mill rate and equalized rate are also coming down as well. So again, we have a high bond rating, we passed the referendum. And what's really I like to mention is having the enhancement to the city's IT network, because cybersecurity is very important. And we have a really good help there. So let's give a big hand to Lori. We organized 3 elections and all folks were happy. And thanks to all these citizens, it's not just Lori, those who, all the election workers, they put a lot of work into it. And so let's give all of those guys a big hand. So if we go to the, we are recruiting just like anywhere else. So it's, that's how it is. So there's a continuous economic development. If you see on the slide on your left-hand side, we used to have a lot of single family homes. And the reason we don't have quite as many is we are sort of landlocked. So, but if you look at the multi-family homes, you can see that if you see in the graph on the right-hand side, they are bulk of the revenue, which was 73.8 million worth of construction in 2022. But you will see later that there is a need for affordable single-family homes. And let's go to the next slide now. So this is on the West Edge Apartments. It's right across from the Marriott. This is the Newcomb building there and looks great. And then Abbey Stonehorse Green, and all of us, our Stonehorse Green, this is making Middleton as a very vibrant place. There's going to be activities even probably when there's a snow. And then where there used to be a Jiffy Lube on University Avenue, we got the Middleton Dentistry. These are just few examples. There are a lot more. So in the next slide, you're going to see, as I said earlier, the public safety is very important. And it was really so sorry to hear that we had a weapons violation and that person who got hurt isn't there. But that is not to say that our police department is doing every possible thing. So we had 2 police officers and the records clerk, and they are going to have the first ever youth academy, and then they're bringing back the citizens academy as well, and the national night out. We all know, most of us have gone there. So if you go to the next slide, so our Milton Police Department does an outstanding job. So last year they responded to nearly 19,000 calls. That is a lot of calls. And, on a very positive note, there was a 3% decrease in violent crimes. That is something which we all hate when you compare to 2022 to 2021. And when I became a mayor, my dream or vision was that we will have a no crime, and our police chief just laughed at me. And I guess that isn't going to happen. But even 3% coming down, that's still good. So Middleton is one of the 47 law enforcement agencies in the state of Wisconsin to achieve the WILOG accreditation. WILOG is a Wisconsin law enforcement accreditation group. So this is really great. And let's give a big hand to our police department for doing things right. So we have state-of-the-art communication center. They respond to not only 911 calls, they respond to all calls. And last year there were 30,000 calls. Again, as I said earlier, our police's approach is community outreach. I had wanted them, there should be, whether it's a national night out, whether it's a citizens academy, or whether it's a working with the optimist, it is all community-based, because when the people know the officers who are patrolling that area, they get to know them. So, but let's not forget our EMS. EMS got 2 new ambulances a little over 18 months ago. They are doing a great job. Our fire company is one of the top-notch company. They have this is a volunteer fire department that's using a lot of new technology, and they do a great job. So let's give a big hand to our police department, EMS, and fire company. So coming to the public works department, and boy, how cheerful Sean was. So this is the public works department, in my opinion, and I think the opinion of a lot of other people, is the backbone of the city. So you know about Pelletary. If your trash sits there, and if the roads aren't cleaned, and not a lot of people don't realize this, but there are people who come and clean the roads. It's not that what mayor picks up all the trash wherever I walk around. And then look at the roads, and look at the water, look at the sewer, look at the branches and leaf pickup. Sean's department does it all. So it's I really have a great regard in what they do. And let's give, just for that, making our city and keeping our city great, let's give a public work. So last year, they reconstructed a Middleton Beach Road, which was a long overdue. And what they did is a phenomenal job. It got the ribbon gutters there, or ribbon curb, and everything is great. So I am sure that people living around there are very happy. And the shore crest was the northern neighborhood. I would walk around there and people will complain, not anymore. Shore crest looks just beautiful. I have walked it since it was repaired. And I didn't want to give the names of where they did chip and seal, including the Fortune Drive, but they did chip and seal and some of these strips all over the city. If our roads look awesome, this is because our Public Works Department has been working on it. So, and not only that, so they also, if you look at the top left, that is the Pheasant Branch Conservancy channel there, which was fixed from 2018 flood damage. And so just now they started building the Pleasant View Road after years of planning. And this is going to be a 4-lane, I call it a highway, but whatever Sean wants to call, that's okay. But it's going to have the sidewalks and all of those things. So when it's done in 2024, it's going to look simply awesome. And these are all funded projects. It's just not just getting done. So coming to planning and development, and you did the university corridor. They do a lot of things. There are not that many people in planning department. They work hard. So, and the Stone Horse Green is done. It's a very vibrant facility there. So there are major housing projects coming, not just department building. There's the Belform, Red Hill Ridge, Bruce Company. Now Rock Ridge is not a single family home. Those are going to be apartment, but there are some big projects coming along. So we are also adopted a complete street policy. You're going to have a sidewalk. So, and sustainability, well, that's sustainability plans were approved. And where's Kelly? She got a lot of grants there too. She does a great job. Let's give a big hand to Kelly as well. If you look at the United Nations report today, they are begging, they are entreating that we have to, I actually wrote down 4 or 5 things which they're asking we should all do, and we should. And sustainability is a big part of it. So, well, our metro bus system, there's a mark, it is going to be very changed starting in June. So we're going to be dealing with it a little bit later, but and then I'm hoping that with the 0.5% going to the art from the TIF, we are going to have a lot more art, which I really love, and we all love in Middleton. So let's go to the next one. Middleton Public Library, one of the best of the best. And you can see that last year, the total visitors increased by 83% year over year compared to 21, 83%. So the number was 212. And they offered 1,165 programs attended by nearly 39,000 people. They are doing also outreach with 245 total events attended by nearly 11,000 people. Our library is one of the best, and they're working to find ways to have programs that it should be open on Sundays. And I know Randall is working on it. Randall, aren't you? So great job, Randall. Let's give a big hand to Randall and the library. Now on to the next one, parks, recreation, and forestry. Wow. So 25% of the space in Milton is a green space. Those are the parks, conservancy, ponds. And this is not with very many cities. We are really lucky. So, and we have a program where we fix the playground. So the last year they did the meadows, basketball, and on Market Street, that's actually a new playground. It took a lot of work, but we finally have a playground in that part of the city. There was nothing there. So, and there's a new basketball court at Parisi Park, if you like basketball. But if you were to look at the lower left, you will see that on the Tiedemann Pond, there's this observation deck, looks very nice. And on your top, that is the parking lot for the cross-country skiing as well as far as our one of the biking programs. And I know people keep asking me what's happened to the Graber Pond. Well, folks are working on it. It will be done. I know I'm very restless that it should have been done, but it's happening. And boy, we did spend $1.4 million in repairing the Lakeview shelter, and now you can see it's very, very popular. So it's awesome. I don't know much about kiosks, but there are 2 kiosks at Middleton Dog Parks, and people have been asking for it, and now we have them. Middleton Senior Center, Tammy's, there's a lot of life there. And they got the 6th National Accreditation Award from the National Council on Aging. Let's give it a big hand to Tammy. So Tammy, we are only one of the, how many in the whole, you want to tell about this accreditation? 220. Wow. We are one of the 220 cities in whole United States. That's awesome. So there were over 20,000 people who visited last year the senior center, and 14,000 meals served, and 120 programs and activities. And this year she's going to even have a lot more. So since we have a lot of seniors, let's give her another big hand to Tammy. Okay. Now tourism isn't really in the next slide. You will see the tourism, and so we love tourists. They spent last year, well, actually in 21, we don't have data for 22, $138 million. That is a lot of money, supporting nearly 1,500 jobs. And more important is that these hotels brought in the third quarter, nearly $700,000. And city, we get to spend 30% of that. So to help with the city funds. So they got a new visitor guide, and now, well, tourism is doing a great job. So let's go to the next one, which is the outlook for 2023. And this is very strong. So the first thing is, again, I'm great for public safety, that maintain public safety and top-notch city services. All the city staff sitting here, remember this, top-notch city services that the citizens ask for and they demand and they deserve. Now, we all had hoped that the Pheasant Branch Conservancy will be the crown jewel after 2018 floods, but it's the FEMA which takes, I'm not finding excuses. They take forever to prove anything. We kept working with them, but now everything is funded. Everything is funded, and I keep going there at least every 2 weeks looking at the bridges, and the bridges are in place, they are coming along. So the Pheasant Branch Creek will be fixed. There will be bridges. There will be that path fixed. And above all, we're going to have new benches, and there will be a lot more trees. It's going to look like a paradise. This is a crown jewel. We are going to do all what we can do to make it happen. Our downtown roads, they were supposed to be fixed, as Sean can tell. Sean, how many years? 3 years ago, but then the pandemic came and the businesses didn't want their business to get hurt. It's happening now. All the downtown roads, including the Parmenter, and you got all those names, they will be fixed. And the Pleasant View Road construction has begun. It was supposed to have begun in 13th, and today is 21st, so it's already a week there. And it will be done in 2024. So the North Monota Trail, Mark has been working on this, and now our city administrator is also helping. There's a big hope here. And Brian tells me it will be done not by April 18th, but he gave me that by June 14th or 15th, it will be all done. I have been pushing him, let's get it done by April 18th, but that's not going to happen. So. So our zoning ordinance, Mark can tell you, it's old. It's very old. And we have been working on it and it will be adopted this coming year. And the pump track, if you like, do the mountain biking, you're going to love it. So it's going to be there close to the cross-country skiing facility. And Stonehorse Green, Abby's favorite thing, there's going to be a lot more programming there. And our city is going to become a very vibrant place. I don't know, Mark, I sent the email. Is that fuel truck here yet at the airport?
Brian staffs the airport, but I think he said it's coming.
Yeah, I know. I talked to this owner 2 times. This was supposed to be here this Friday. But in any case, we get all the complaints about we are using unleaded fuel. And very soon we are going to have this truck, which will be taking the unleaded fuel 94 octane. And 60% of the planes, which we are using leaded fuel now, will be able to use the unleaded fuel. So this is going to be very exciting, and everything is looking great. So thank you. It's an honor to serve your mayor, and it's also an honor to get these things done. Thank you. So. I had written down to greatness, fun, vibrancy, great life, and bright future. And we are on to all of those. So, okay, so the next item now is, approval of the consent agenda as recommended to the council by the committees, commissions, and boards. It has approval of the Middleton Common Council minutes of March 7th, 2023, audit of bills to be paid as approved by the Finance Committee, authorization to settle a claim from Nick Hartsey for damage to the vehicles that occurred on December 23rd, 2022. Authorization to settle a claim from Natania Hansen for damage to a vehicle that occurred on February 28, 2023. An agreement with Marco for IT-related services. Need a motion to approve.
This is Alder Kuhn. I'll make that motion.
Need a second.
I'll second. This is Haniro.
Okay, any questions or comments? All those in favor of the approval of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone? Thank you, Luke. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We are on to the agreements now. First one is the agreement with Middleton for Metro Transit Service.
This is Alder Kuhn. I'll make the motion to approve.
Need a second.
I'll second. This is Haniro.
Any questions or comments? Mark, any last minute changes? Okay. Any questions from anyone? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion to approve the agreement with City of Middleton for Metro Transit Service, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Item number 2, the change order with TRC Environmental Corporation for supplemental phase 2 environmental site assessment to request no further action from DNR 2610 Parmenter Street.
This is Haniro. I'll move approval as recommended by the Finance Committee.
Need a second.
Solson, a second.
Any questions or comments? This is a good thing. It's coming to an end, hopefully soon. Okay, all those in favor of the motion to approve the change order with TRC Environmental Corporation for supplemental phase 2 environmental site assessment to request no further action from DNR 2610 Parmenter Street, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are on to award of bid, court, and professional services. Item number 1, award of bid to JB Johnson Brothers for the annual concrete repair project.
This is Alder Kuhn. I'll make that motion to approve. This is Wilkus. I'll second.
Any questions or comments? We need to get those sidewalks fixed. So if there are no, Sean, do you have any final words of wisdom? Okay, all right. All those in favor of the motion to approve the award of bid to JB Johnson Brothers for the annual concrete repair project, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are on to item number 2, award of bid to Fowler Asphalt Sealer for bridge deck maintenance.
Mrs. Alder Keen, I'll make a motion to approve.
Need a second.
Mrs. Wilkus, I'll second.
Any questions or comments? So Sean, how many bridges? We are talking about just one bridge? Or all the bridges in Middleton?
Well,
We get bridge inspections done every other year.
Mhm.
And so the last bridge inspection noted some issues on, I want to say it was a handful of bridges that we really needed to tend to. And that's why we turned in the budget request. So first we got an estimate from a company that does this sort of thing, and then we put it into the budget. So now we finally actually get to do it.
So this is the handful of bridges. All right. So
Yep.
thank you, Sean. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of the giving the award of bid to Foreigner Asphalt Sealers for bridge deck maintenance, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We are on to item number 3, acceptance of proposal from Kahoy Group for well number 4 rehabilitation.
Alder Keen, I'll make the motion to approve.
Mrs. Wilkus, I'll second.
Even though they are from Iowa, I'm just joking. So- Okay, any questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion to accept the proposal from Kahoy Group for well number 4 rehabilitation, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Rejection of bid, not accepting, rejection of bid for the Pheasant Branch Creek Storm Pipe Lining Project for the second time. Need a motion to reject.
Mrs. Wilkus, I'll make a motion to reject the bid.
This is Sonira. I'll second.
Any questions or comments? And Sean has plans to find people who will actually help. All those in favor of the motion to reject the bid for Pheasant Branch Creek Storm Pipe Lining Project, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5, acceptance of proposal from IPM Institute for Public Health work on energy efficiency navigator program.
Mrs. Alder Keen, I'll make the motion to approve.
This is Sonira. I'll second.
All right, money is already there, Kelly, right? So any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Kelly, do you have anything to say? It makes you happy, right? All right. All those in favor of the motion of accepting the proposal from IPM Institute for Public Health work on energy efficiency navigator program, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Wow, we are on to miscellaneous, and item number 1 is a big item here. So this is the solid waste collection palliatory contract extension options. Boy, everybody's thinking, Daniel. So
Ramsey will move to approve the concept as recommended by finance.
need a second.
This is Sonira. I'll second.
All right, Sean, go ahead and throw the light on anything that you want to say or do.
All right. So I wanted to say, if there are any questions, I'm close.
Does anybody have any questions for Sean? We had a discussion in the finance committee meeting.
Well, and to explain, the finance committee agreed to recommend the 10-year term, not removing the requirement for the letter of credit and keeping the carts with the current system.
Can you say that again? Not
As it
removing?
is, yes.
The letter of credit will remain a part of
Okay,
the,
will remain.
Yes.
Okay.
13,000.
as recommended by Larry.
Yeah, $13,500. Okay. Any other, any questions for Sean? He's there. Look at that. He's interested in answering questions.
Otherwise,
right
we'll get
now.
it rolling. Yeah, that's good too.
Okay, if there are no questions or comments, and all those in favor of the motion to approve the solid waste collection palliatory contract extension option, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Well, it's approved. Item number 2, increase in schedule working hours for part-time senior services case manager.
This is Alder Kuhn. I'll make that motion to approve.
Need a second.
This Crow, I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Tammy, would that make you happy? Yeah, all right. Okay, if there are no questions or comments, all those in favor of the motion to approve the increase in scheduled working hours for part-time senior services case manager, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are on to item number 3. This is the change in community services manager's role to building and facilities manager.
This is Alder Kuhn. I'll make the motion to approve.
Need a second.
And I will second.
Any questions or comments? Well, Brian, this is a chance to explain to everyone, not just to finance committee, why you are doing it.
So previous to this, we had a community services manager where the duties were split between code compliance and buildings and facility maintenance. We found over the last 2 years that the vast majority of the duties of the community services manager were actually building and facilities maintenance. When we took a look at those duties and the scope to which the job had increased, we moved towards a new duty position with an increased grade.
Okay. Any questions for Brian or any questions at all?
I do.
Sure, go ahead, Randy.
I was just curious, does this include library building and maintenance, or is that separate?
It does.
Okay,
So Randy, it includes everything.
Yeah.
Right, Brian?
It does.
Yes, even the new facilities as and when they come up, that will be included. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion to approve the change of the community services manager's role to building and facilities manager, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are on to the ordinances. This is the first reading. Final action may be taken on approval of the motion to suspend rules under section 1.07 Middleton General Ordinances. And I don't think we need to do that, but at least for the first item. It's an ordinance to amend the section 15.048B relating to official bus stops. So this is a big thing. So need a motion to approve.
This is Nelson. I will move approval. I don't know if you want me to suspend the
Yeah,
rules.
I don't know if somebody could come up with any. Mark? Oh, I don't think we need to suspend it. Yeah,
It's not urgent.
Okay.
it's not urgent.
But I
Just
would simply add that we are working on a plan to relocate 4, possibly up to 6 bus shelters to some of the new stops. So you might be hearing about that soon.
so Mark, stay there. It's a big change. So any possibility that Madison Metro could say, well, we want to go back to the older system.
No, it is a done deal.
It's
It
a done
is,
deal.
Yeah, it is going to be implemented on June 11th. And we have 2 routes that will be serving the city. The backbone route will come out University Avenue, turn right on Allen Boulevard, west on Century Avenue, south on Parmenter Street, west on University, stop briefly in Discovery Springs Business Park, and then south through Greenway to Mineral Point Road in Madison. That will be one direction, and then will operate in reverse every 30 minutes in both directions. That's called Route F, I think. I forgot the numbers now, the letters.
I think that's route,
and
wasn't
then-
it F? Yeah.
F, and then the other route
Is
will
it
come up
R2?
from Park Street, Gammon Road, Park Street, east on University, north on Branch, and then east on Century to serve the northeast side, District 7 and 8. And in reverse, that will be all-day service, 60-minute service. And I'm sorry, I can't remember the letter right now, but
It's R2.
it's Y, I think, or YR. Yeah, they had different letters at different times
Oh, okay.
initially, so.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, so those will be our 2 routes. And as I mentioned, we have several bus stops in the city, a couple owned by Metro Transit, a couple owned by the city that we will want to relocate to optimal locations to serve, most people that we can. So we'll be coming to you with that.
Okay. Any questions for Mark while he's there? Now, Sean, question for you, that just when this bus route changes, you're not going to change the snow plowing thing, because really we enjoy when we get up that little street we live on now gets plowed.
Mayor,
I'm just
Mayor?
kidding. You don't need to answer it.
Mayor, we have a motion, but no second at this point.
Oh, there was no second? Okay, well, let's have a second before Sean answers. So there was a motion by
Alder Nelson.
Elder Nelson. I need a second.
This is Wilkus. I'll second.
Okay, now thank you. Boy, Bill, you are earning your keep. So great. Thank you. Yes, Sean.
Yeah, so you'll never see a plow again. That's just the way it goes.
Well, I will get some exercise, so. Okay, any other
I have
relevant
a quick
questions?
question for Mark, if I might, and this may not be the right venue for it, but is there any thought about putting bike racks at these bus stops? So people that are, I'm just thinking because I've occasionally biked to work and taken the bus home, and I put the bike on the front, and there's only 2 spots on the buses for the bikes. So I'm just thinking, if people are commuting into these bus stops now, is there going to be places to store or
That's not currently planned, but I really like that idea. Because as you said, there's a limitation on if you do take a bus or a bike to the bus and there's some room to exactly, you want a place to store it and not tie it to a tree.
Right.
Or not block it to a tree. Let's talk about that further, but I really like that idea.
And when, just one quick comment, when Mark says there's a good idea, he gets it done. Yes, Lisa.
Related to that, what about park and rides? Is there any opportunity? Because I too sometimes take the bus downtown and I have to creatively park.
What we have found has been happening over the years is people have been doing a lot of informal park and rides. I've seen people park on Maple Street and take the bus in there. That was a number of years ago. We actually, believe it or not, have people that have parked at our airport parking lot.
Really?
Although they don't necessarily take the bus, but they're meeting people to carpool in the rest of the way. I know it happens on Terrace Avenue. I've seen it happening where people get out of the bus and then at the end of the day in the car and then drive on. So it's all informal at this point. We don't have a designated park and ride facility that is served by a transit system. The only park and ride that's formal in the city is up by the Mock, and that's obviously not on the bus route. So.
Yep. Great. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Just so you know, at Doors, I've been hearing of some people who are thinking about doing that once it changes. So I've heard that they're already doing it from various parts of the city, but that there will be an increase in those informal spots. I think the northeast side, I think, Dan, that's your district. That's where I was hearing that they're going to be going downtown. So
what you're probably hearing is people who are concerned that they're losing their 30-minute service and it's going to 60-minute. And so some of those people may choose, if they have access to a vehicle, to drive to Allen Boulevard and park at Middleton Springs Shopping Center or wherever. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that does happen. We can't do anything about that, but
I'm not stopping it.
Right. But I
Not
will
mad
say
about
that even though that side of the city, which is some of the most heavily used transit stops in the city, northeast side and then Allen Boulevard corridor are the 2 heaviest. The rest of the city, the Allen, Century, west of Allen and Parmenter corridors are going to have a significant increase in bus service. So the majority of the city, the heart of the city is being served. We aren't doing as good a job on the northeast side as Bishop's Bay continues to develop. As we go north into Red Tail Ridge and Bell Farm, I'd like to see a bus route go across the north side of the city, and that will hopefully correct some of or make up for some of the loss in transit service now. And then, of course, we have the North Mendota Trail, which will hopefully get some people to bike, and then we need the bike parking at the bus stop. So we're working on this, adapting to this new system. It is metro system wide. We are just one small part of that, but I'm optimistic that it will be implemented in June. There's no turning back at this point.
Great. I know we had wanted Middleton circulator, but this is probably the closest, and let's see how it goes. So I think it should work out well. So,
And it will provide, for the first time, we'll have really good service in two directions. So there'll be
Yeah.
service going south on the west side of the Beltline, south to Mineral Point Road, where it will connect to the bus rapid transit there. So that whole Mineral Point Road corridor will be in play with direct service. It's really, there's going to be a lot of new connections. And what I would like to do is come up with, once the schedule is released, I'll share that with all of you, and we can publicize maybe some routes that people can take, some origin and destinations, and saying this is how you can, did you know you can do this, with this new service? So we'll do some things like that to help educate Middleton residents.
yeah, so this provides an opportunity. Those people who work and live in Middleton, they can go to their jobs and just use the bus. They can go to the grocery, they can go to doctor's appointment, whatever. So I think this is a good move. So it's a huge move, but it is a good move. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion to approve the first reading of the ordinance to amend section 15.048B relating to official bus stops, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We are on to item number 2. An ordinance relating to events at the Stone Horse Green and to require special event application for city-sponsored events.
This is Olson. I'll move approval.
This is Nelson. I'll second.
So do you want to keep it a first reading or? Okay, all right.
I want to say it again.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion to approve the first reading of the ordinance relating to events at the Stone Horse Green and to require special event application for city-sponsored events, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are on to the resolutions. Bringing some money to the city. Resolution 2023-17, final assessments for Pleasant View Road reconstruction.
This is Wilkus. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Need a second.
Ramsey, a second.
All right. Any questions or comments from anyone, including Sean? Any questions or comments? Okay, otherwise, all those in favor of the motion to approve the resolution 2023-17, final assessment for Pleasant View Road reconstruction, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 2.
Mr. Mayor, item number 2, the Sustainability Committee last night decided to refer it to the Public Works Committee.
So you want to defer it then? Or?
Yes.
Okay, so resolution 2023-18 streetlight conversion to LED to save money and reduce carbon emission. Sustainability Committee, you want to make a motion, whatever you want to say?
I thought this had been pulled.
Motion to defer.
Okay, I'll make a motion to defer.
Okay, need a
This is
second.
Wilkus. I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Kelly, do you want to say anything or it just, so why?
Well, originally we had thought about who would co-sponsor it with the Sustainability Committee, and the Public Works Alder reached out to us. And so we have some changes that Sean had suggested, and the committee last night decided we'd like to refer to the Public Works Committee
Okay,
and then come back.
okay, but this is a good thing. We want to do it as quickly as possible. Okay, all right. All those in favor of the motion to defer the resolution 2023-18, which is street light conversion to LED to save money and reduce carbon emissions, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? You would think that we would want to act on it right away, but that's how it is. Okay, we are on to the next item, the reports on this is the discussion report on city committees, boards, and commissions from elder persons. Raise your hand. All right. Elder.
I just want to let all the other alders know that the Arts Committee is looking for artists to show and sell their art at the May 20th Art Walk. We're looking for artists, so let your friends and family know if they've got.
All right. Let there be a lot of artists there. Anyone else? Yes.
I would like to report from the Pleasant View Golf Committee that last night we voted to accelerate the advanced repayment to TID 3. There's payments that are made back from a loan that was made to the golf course. I don't know what year off the top of my head. I'd have to double check
Long
that.
time ago.
Yeah, there are payments that are made back every year at about 450,000. This year's payment is going to be at 844,290. The health of the finances at the golf course is very good. They had a really good year last year. And even with the construction of the road and some of the improvements that are going on at the golf course, they're investing back in the property and are making some improvements to the course. They still expect this year to be quite good. So with this advanced payment in TID 3 to this year, that will allow us to take 1 year off the TID payments. And so instead of ending in 2026, the TID payments will be done in 2025.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
Bill is getting $400,000 more than what he had anticipated. Boy, look at that. He's happy. So, I know.
Well, there's some other maths that go into it. So the full payment is 844,290. The normal payment is 450, but there's a difference of about 200,000 to another land acquisition that was part of it. So there's other maths that go into it, but
They slipped us something extra in there in the envelope for you, Bill.
the overall news out of the golf course committee is
Very
the
positive.
financial health there is
Yes.
very good.
Yeah, it is amazing that how the change in the director of, well, anyway, this whole thing is turned around. It's so popular and they're making money rather than losing it. So, okay. And anybody else want to say? Yes, Randall, go ahead.
The Middleton Youth Center is having a workshop on April 13th. It's basically an open house that the students who attend the center have. I think this is the second year that they've done it since the pandemic. I'm not sure if they did it before the pandemic, but it's related to different cultures of the kids who are putting up exhibits. They have food there. I went to it last year as one of my first things I went to as an older person, and it was really, really good and very informative. So it's at Cromrie Middle School. The 13th, it's basically an open house, I think from 5 to 6:30.
Okay, let everybody go. Tell your friends and yes, please.
Well, you could finish your thought.
Oh.
Said you could finish your thought. You were encouraging people to go to the youth
Yes,
center.
I would encourage everyone to go. Yes.
I was there too. That's where I met Randall. And I encourage everyone to go. I'll be there this year. Just a quick report from the Water Resources Management Commission. So one of the things that the chair has brought up that we're all very interested in is changing our salt ordinance in Middleton to be more like what Madison has and actually incentivize people to sweep up the salt when they're done and do a really bang up job educating people. Anyone doing doors when it was snowy might have seen piles of salt that is just, not necessary. So at some point in the future, we expect to bring a resolution to council to change the salt ordinance. And as part of this salt pollution prevention initiative, we're also going to be trying to support legislation that is in the legislature right now. Our Diane Hesselbein and Alex Jors are both co-sponsors of it. It's bipartisan legislation, so there's a good chance it'll pass, and it would create a voluntary de-icer certification program. So we're interested in supporting that.
Well, that's excellent. Yes, Elder Emily.
First of all, that's awesome. Thanks. The Stormwater Utility Board voted last week on new software to keep tracking the stormwater, like where the basins are and things for the private. And I got to use it this last week when I called about one, and they said it's going to be on my new software program, which was pretty exciting. The Aging Commission, the one thing I wanted to add to Tammy's report is that when they do their caseworker, when they get their cases for their caseworkers, is that they're referred from the city and from other senior folks or through the food drop-off program, but also from our public safety, like our police officers, firefighters, and EMS. So if they go in and say, help somebody transport to the hospital, they notice they might need wraparound services. That's how it gets referred. So it's really important that we as city council know about this, because you might be doing doors, in a year and a half, and you might have somebody who's very lonely or needing extra help, and maybe family's not checking in on them. Just know that your senior center you might want to give Tammy a call, and she might be able to help you navigate. And last of all, public safety met, and we will be scheduling some follow-up meetings on various public safety topics in the next 6 months, including about the mental health facility in town is one of the topics. And also, like safe locking up of your guns. If you are you have a Second Amendment, gun in your house and you're not sure what to do, they're going to do some training out of a national organization. So just get some information out, especially for people with small children or teenagers. So thanks.
Okay, thank you. Kathy?
Yeah, we had it's my final tourism meeting this evening, and May is National Tourism Month, and they're going to be giving a presentation similar to what the library did, because it was really good that we got caught up on what the library is doing. So we're going to do the same with tourism in May.
Excellent. That's excellent. Wow, this is how Tammy gets 198 cases coming from all over. That's great. Yes, yes. In terms of salt on Sweeney Drive, nobody uses salt. I still have a bag sitting there from about 2 years. So it's just creating a culture. So it's just, I think once we have the ordinance, that would really help. So, well, anyone else? Our CDA is doing great. So Abby can tell you that. So, all right. Then we need a motion to go into closed session.
This is Alder Kuhn. I'll make that motion.
Need a second.
Focus, I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of going to closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will be in closed session soon. The motion passed.